Hi, friends. Welcome to the channel or welcome back. We are just going to jump right on into today's channeled message. I was given two images for two distinct groups of people, and interestingly enough, these can kind of be seen to lead into one another, almost in a linear kind of sense. You'll see what I mean. But these messages are for someone or someones who have in the first group, I will say, have been enmeshed in shadow work, who are kind of getting fatigued, who maybe feel a sense of overwhelm, this sense of, I've been doing this for so long, why is it still here? Why am I still dealing with this? Thoughts, too, of like if you reach a kind of peaceful ground or understanding or clarity, that then something else arises and there's just always something to be dealt with, right? That's the first group. The second group could be perceived to be a little farther along. That is the kind of linear sense that I was talking about earlier. um that there's this sense of restlessness, almost, that there's something greater to be done. There's a way to move forward, that feels almost kind of like stepping out of the ordered, just out of the order, out of the ordinary, maybe, to move forward. Both of these groups are on paths that are largely centered around independence, autonomy, um, progress and growth, and this sense of knowing truly this almost like there's a need to be, if not certain, to trust oneself in the decisions that they are making, in spite of fill in the blank, right? If you are identifying with this first group, the image that I was given was someone who was like panning for gold. I think that's what it's called, panning. And the circular motion itself was being emphasized. I've also kind of seen people do like a back and forth, like a shaking kind of. But ultimately, the meaning behind that, of like the perspective when you are looking kind of down at it, it looks like it's just going in the same. It's like hitting the same places. You're going around and around and around, or back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. There's this revisiting that was attempting to be communicated with these images. And if you are in a space of working, doing shadow work or attempting to address past traumas, limiting beliefs, fear-based beliefs, any of that, it can, and it is often, a revisiting over and over and over again, as many times as is needed. um the message, though, is encouraging, and you are being encouraged along this. You are not alone in this. But the encouragement is to shift that perspective of saying, yes, if you've ever seen someone that's like down in a hole, and to get up because they can't climb vertically, they have to use, I think it's centrifugal force. I am not a scientist. If that is not the right word, feel free to let me know, like, in the comments. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a messenger. But if you've ever seen anyone have to try to run out of a hole in that way, they have to, go in that circular motion and use gravity and momentum to move them upwards. And so looking down at that, it looks like they're just running in a circle, and it looks like no progress is being made. But when you adjust the perspective, you can clearly see that previous ground is being transcended, and they are ascending, and eventually they will reach the top of the hole and be, you know what I mean? They'll be out of it. Similarly, back to the panning image, there's this, specifically, even I was getting like a need to add even more water, because if you've ever like panned or done like the fake panning, it's, the rocks are just coated in sediment, and you need to clear all of that out, and before you can see what is at its core, that golden core that you were trying to get at. And so there's this exhaustion, this fatigue that comes from having to continually put water in, when in the pan itself it's so muddy. I'm seeing someone just be like, is it even worth it? It seems like almost overwhelm at the, I'm either getting like the amount of thing, but it feels like someone feels like it's a never ending murkiness You understand well, just because like one's awareness has increased, that it hasn't necessarily helped any, and maybe at times it even feels more overwhelming, right? Because we're not doing the numbing, we're not doing the avoidance, we are facing it head on. I truly want to encourage you to keep going. You are at the precipice. The image that I got specifically was that there is gold that can be perceived, right? And maybe you've gotten flashes of it, and this is kind of what that those moments of clarity, those arrivals at understanding, um there are those, glimpses of the gold at the bottom, but it was literally like the image of what does water do when it is given time to just rest and it's not touched, right? It settles, the water settles, and it becomes clear. All of the sediment, right, moves to the bottom, and you can see clearly through that part of the water. Um, Similarly, understand that the energy that you are like shaking loose, to kind of keep with that um, analogy, that it is also going to take its own time to settle, and that introducing newness into that space, it takes time. So be gentle with yourself. If you do feel exhausted, allow yourself time to rest, allow it to settle, and then when you feel ready, go back in. Okay. For the second group, the image that I was given was one of when you're driving and you're, say, like in one lane, and you're behind someone who's moving at their own pace, and maybe you're kind of in your head about, well, they could be going faster, maybe they're even just doing these speed limits, and you're like, why are you not going faster? But like, say you're in the left lane and your left turn is coming up, so you were like, I'll just stay in this lane. I know that eventually I will arrive. This is irritating, but I know eventually, keeping this pace, I will get there. But then there is a moment of stepping out. There is this, okay, well, I'm going to go. Actually, I do have time. I'm going to move around and I'm going to go my pace, and I'm going to get there in a way that feels more natural to me, and in a way that my movement is silencing these thoughts that are agitating me, right? And the message that I really got behind that is that maybe for some time now you have felt the need to be guided. You have looked for guidance, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In some way or another, some aspect of your life, you felt a need to be guided or instructed, or need to seek the advice of one that you feel knows the lay of the land, so to speak. This is trusting that you have been led as far as there is to lead you, and that now it is time for you to step out. It is time for you to gain that perspective. And if you've ever been driving, you see that, like, like the car that you've been going 45 miles an hour behind has absolutely no one in front of them, and they're just going at their own pace. And you're like, what the heck? So you speed up to pass them, and it's a much more comfortable experience for you. It's that. This can also lend to, or speak to, perhaps feeling like you are outpacing someone, outgrowing someone, that you're leaving someone behind because of your growth. And there is a warning around that, a warning to not hit your brakes, because the person that once led you or guided you is now so far in your rear view, they're about to disappear. This is about having the clarity, the trust in yourself that you know where you're going, and that in time you will come upon another car that will have something to teach you, that will have another way to show you, that will have, some guidance to offer. And then again, hopefully, right, there's this passing that happens, a surpassing. Both of these messages encourage your pace and encourage more and more trust, that what you are moving toward is real, that the work that you are doing absolutely matters, that you are not standing in the same position that you were, and is also encouraging reflection. It is encouraging that in that reflection, you are not judgmental of however long it has taken you to arrive uh, where you are right now. It is encouraging you to not judge, based on the car next to you, how fast or slow they're going. This is about finding your natural flow and tempo with the universe as it is presenting these lessons for you, and allowing yourself to learn at your pace in your way, without judgment, without criticism, without harshness, without shame or guilt. You are doing it. You're doing it. Like I don't know what else to say. You're doing it now. Um, and I think that's beautiful. And I really do want to encourage you to keep going. You are being encouraged by your spirit team, by those around you, by the universe. You are supported. It doesn't always feel that way, but I'm here to tell you that it is true. Um, that is truly all that I had for today's message. I hope that it helped. If it did and you want to let me know, feel free to leave a like or a comment. If you want to know when I post readings, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I know that I did take all of June off, which I think was extremely necessary. I also encourage you guys to rest when you need to, without explanation, without need to preface. Just, obviously you don't want to leave anybody in a bad spot, but if you need to take time for you, I encourage it. And I appreciate you guys still being here with me. If you're still here with me, uh, I just take these breaks sometimes because I want to make sure that my own sediment is not muddying the waters when I step into this place and channel for you all. I want to make sure that I don't have my own stuff that's kind of getting in the way of that. So I appreciate the understanding. I appreciate you guys still being here, and I look forward to the next video. I hope to see you guys there. Bye.